Hi, good morning, everyone. Okay, today is going to be a topic on semiotics. I'm going to teach you about the science of science. Okay, without further ado, let's go to my PowerPoint slides. So this is the topic, semiotics. See, um, my materials here is taken from two books by Chandler in 2000 and Sipiok in 2001. Both discuss the science, an introduction to semiotics. Now let me introduce to you the basic concepts of semiotics. In semiotics, you have two main concepts, which is signifier. Signifier means the physical forms of science, the physical forms of writing, the physical uh, sounds. So in signifier, you are concerned about the physical forms, not the meaning yet, but the physical forms. It can be the physical forms of science. For example, traffic signs that you see every day on the street. It can be the physical form of writing. It can be the sounds. Yeah, the physical presence of those signs are called signifier. Okay. The next one is called signified. Yeah, signified. This is the idea or the message or the notion that the signifier communicates to the viewers or to the readers or to the listeners. So for example, if you see this uh, sign, this is the signifier. See the signifier here is there's a letter P and crossed with a red bar, and then there is a red circle. Yeah, this is the physical form of the sign itself, and it refers to a signified. The signified, yeah, this the idea that it represents is do not park here. So if you see this signifier, you know what it signifies, you know what it represents, you know the idea that it represents, you know the message that it's communicating to you, which is do not park here. So if you understand the signified, then if you happen to bring your car, then you won't park on that spot because you know that this signifier signifies this message. Okay, signifier, the sign itself, yeah, or the symbol itself, and signified, the message that it represents. Clear? Okay, good. So signifier and signified. Now, there are some types of signs based on the Peirce as the name of the expert who came up with this proposition or this idea. There are at least three types of signs. First is the icon. Icon is a sign that looks like the object that it signifies or that it represents. So if you come across a sign and that it resembles an object in the real life, then it is an icon. Yeah. For example, you see if you go to the bathroom or to the restroom in a mall, you will see a picture of a woman and a picture of a man. Yeah. Those pictures are icons because they looks like the real object. They looks like the real woman, the real man. So that is an icon because an icon looks like the object that it represents or that it signifies. Okay. Probably you also happen to see a sign which in which there is a cigarette, yeah, the drawing of a cigarette. Again, that is an icon because it represents the real cigarette, yeah, the real cigarette in real life. That's what an icon is. it always looks like the object that it signifies or that it represents. Next one is index. Index is a sign that points to a certain object or to a certain event somewhere. Yeah. So for example, if you see smoke, if you see smoke coming up from a certain place, that smoke actually points to a fire. There's no smoke without fire behind it, right? So smoke here is the index because it points to the fire, yeah, below that smoke or behind that smoke. If you point like this, if you point your finger to a certain direction, for example, I say, look at the moon, look at the moon in the sky. Now, my pointing finger is also an index because it points to a certain direction. In this case, it's a moon. Yeah. Look at that bridge. Now, my pointing finger is also an index because it points to a certain object, a bridge in a distance. Okay, so you have an index, which is a sign that points to a certain object or to a certain event. Yeah. You may sit in a restaurant and then you smell something. You smell food being cooked. Now that's also an index because it points to the food being cooked in the kitchen. Okay, that's index. Now symbol. Symbol is a sign that represents an object in an arbitrary manner. Arbitrary means there is no certain rule, there's no certain pattern following that the relationship between sign and the object. Yeah, it just happens just like that, arbitrary, no rule, no certain pattern. That's what the symbol stands for. It stands for an object, but the way it represents is arbitrary. So our language is actually full of symbols. If you see words, words are examples of symbols, because there is no clear pattern, there is no clear rule why the word, for example, the word window looks like that. And it represents an object which is like that too. Yeah, you know, you can see the word window, then you can see the object it refers to. And the word window represents that object. What is the rule? There's no rule here because it's arbitrary. Yeah, there's arbitrary. There's no rule. There's no certain pattern. That's with for that we call that symbol. Yeah, so you have icon, index, and symbol. Okay. Now, next one is about the relationship between elements in a sign. The first one is called syntagmatic. Now, syntagmatic is the linear arrangement. It's the linear arrangement. It can be vertical or horizontal of the elements. Yeah. Linear, you know, linear means from left to right, from up to bottom, or vice versa. Yeah. And then it also determines the relationship between each other and the rules for the arrangement. Yeah, so this is what is syntagmatic. So for example, if you see the string, the man eats the cake. In syntagmatic, we are concerned with the linear arrangement. You have the word the here, followed by man, followed by eats, followed by another the, followed by cake. Now in syntagmatic, you want to know how the man here is related to eats and how eats is related to the cake. Now, from grammar, we know that the man here is the subject, is the agent of the action eats. And eats, in turn, is the, it's something, it needs an object, and the cake here is the object of the word eats. Yeah, so put together, they represent, this is the agent, something that does something, and this is the action, and this is the object of the action. The man eats the cake. See, in syntagmatic, we deal with the linear arrangement and the rules of this arrangement and the relationship between one element and the other in a linear fashion. That's syntagmatic. Yeah. Of course, this happens to be from left to right, but as I said before, this can also be applied to elements which are arranged from top to the bottom, vertical. Yeah, later we are going to see that example of a vertical arrangement. Okay, the next one is paradigmatic. Paradigmatic is the presence of certain elements which potentially can be replaced by other elements. Yeah, so now we are talking about whether one element can be replaced by other elements. In semiotics, we study why some elements are used instead of some other elements. Now the example probably will make it clearer. For example, we have the sentence, he killed the animal. Look at the word killed here. Yeah. We can replace the word killed here with murdered, which means the same, right? We can also replace the word killed here with assassinated. Yeah, also makes sense, right? So in paradigmatic, we deal with replacement of one element with another element. In analysis, we are asking questions like, why is killed used here? Why not murdered? Why not assassinated? Yeah, so again, in paradigmatic, you do not analyze it linearly, like in syntagmatic, but you discuss why an element is used instead of another element, or can another element be used instead of the stated element here. Yeah. So again, it's the presence of certain elements which potentially can be replaced. Look at the word replaced here. This is the keyword for the paradigmatic. Okay, so that's syntagmatic and paradigmatic, two important concepts in semiotic studies. Okay, let's continue to the example. See this one is an analysis of a syntagmatic and paradigmatic of a movie poster. Now syntagmatic, let's see the elements arranged from top to bottom. You have the names here written in this font and with the size here. How are these writing related to the people here? Yeah, you can ask a question like that when you analyze a certain discourse, a certain poster. Yeah, why is I mean, what is the relationship between the writing here and the people here, or the picture here? And then going down further, you have the word Marvel here, written in red, and then you have the you have another writing written in the biggest fonts, Guardians of the Galaxy. You can wonder, how are these related to the picture of the drawing of people here, right? And then you have some other writing, but this is very small, hardly visible because they are very small. How are they related to the other? So if we go vertically, we can ask syntagmatic questions. How is this related to this one? How are the pictures here related to the title here? And how is this in turn related to these small letters here? Okay, that's syntagmatic. You can also go from the left to right. You have something here. I don't know, it is protagonist or the antagonist or the villain. And then you have the a man here looks very strong and very brave, very mean, yeah, very heroic, if you like. And then you have a woman here, and then you have another one, yeah, a smaller drawing. And you can also analyze how these are related to each other. Yeah. How is this element related to this man here? How are they related to the woman here? How are they related to the creature here? And then there is a animal here. Yeah. How are they related to this figure? So in syntagmatic, you can analyze a piece of poster based on those questions. Yeah, again, it always deals with the linear arrangement from top to bottom or from left to right. Yeah. Now paradigmatic. Now you might wonder why they put the actors here. Why don't they put the directors or the cameraman or the producers? Why the actors? There must be a reason behind that, right? And you ask that when you analyze it paradigmatically. Remember that paradigmatic means that you want to discuss, you want to know why a certain element is used instead of the other elements or instead of other elements. Yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy here. Why is it here? Why is the title? Why is not the cinema in which this movie is showing? Yeah. So again, that's paradigmatic analysis. Yeah. So this might give you an idea for your thesis later. You probably are interested in syntagmatic and paradigmatic analysis of a certain brochure or a certain poster or a certain advertisement, yeah, or maybe a certain movie, a certain sign, a certain logo, yeah. For example, one of your seniors did a study on semiotics, investigating the semiotic studies on Machung logo. That's interesting, right? Okay, so students, that's all about my explanation on semiotics. I hope this is clear for you. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that's a brief introduction to semiotics. I hope you can understand it well. If not, then we can discuss the material when we discuss on online session on Microsoft Teams. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay strong. Goodbye for now.